يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أحبتي الكرام، طبتم وطاب ممشاكم وتبوأتم من الجنة منزلا. Before we start today, I want to thank you for attending Salat al-Maghrib. Right now, there are people that have lost their minds. In this very moment, there are people who have lost all qiyam, all morals. They are like, you ever had a campfire? When the moths start flying around, they see the fire, they go right into it. They're attracted to the flame, the light. It's exactly what's happening to these people. They are flocking towards the beaches to see balls of light bursting in the skies. The fireworks. Are fireworks haram? No, they're not haram. But if you look at these events, they call it the Festival of Lights. Yeah? It's the festival of despicable nature is what it is. It is where people lose all senses and morals. They get intoxicated. They do drugs. There are women that are scantily clad. Every fisq, fujur you can imagine is present. And we have some Muslims, hadahumullah, may Allah guide them. They want to treat their families, their sons and daughters and their wives, so they take them to such events. I grew up here in Vancouver. I was born and raised in Kitsilano actually. And I used to go when I was a kid with my family because it was a family event. Families would come and they would set up their own little place, they would watch the fireworks and go home. Now it has turned into a satanic event where, as I mentioned, widespread open intoxication, women and men intermingling and mixing, drugs and open drug use. You can smell it, festers in the air. Even if you don't do drugs, you're going to get secondhand high. And we have Muslims who are taking their families to such events. I'm going to tell you something right now. You need to get real. And alhamdulillah, you're all here, so you're exempt. But if you know someone of your family members or friends, tell them, Taqullah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because these are not events to take your family or even go to yourself. So I wanted to thank you, the youth, the brothers, the fathers, the sisters who are present, because you are here in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no better place for you to be right now than right here, despite of what they're calling you towards. And subhanAllah, it is such a hypocritical nature of the Western ideology where they say we promote healthier lifestyles and we're conscious about the environment and we care about the ecosystem, but here they are polluting the skies with smoke. They're polluting the scenery with incessant noise. They're polluting the streets with masses and hordes of people crowding, polluting the streets with all the congestion and the traffic. And they call this entertainment the Festival of Lights. It's a hypocritical, despicable celebration, if you want to call it anything. Again, I'm not saying it's haram, but for you and I as Muslims to place ourselves in such an environment, this is halak. This is a detriment to your character. This is a detriment to our Muslim conduct and our morals. So I just wanted to start off by thanking you for attending Salat al-Maghrib and for understanding that we have ethics and morals. We don't follow, just lights in the sky. We're not moths. We have aql, we have choice, we have will, we have aqidah, we have a creed, we have a belief system. We're not mindless drones. As much as they want you to be a mindless drone, every second day it's a different event. If it's not the Euro Cup, it's the Olympics. If it's not the Olympics, it's the World Cup. If it's not the World Cup, it's the Super Bowl, and so on, until you become this mindless drone. You're just walking, turn right, turn left, stop, sit, stand. You have no sense. But no, alhamdulillah, we have a guidance. It is the best of guidance, the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Just to recap for the brothers that weren't here last week, we discussed as-sujud. As-sujud. Quick question just to test for the brothers that were here. Is sujud a rukn? Is it a pillar? Or is it from the wajibat, the compulsory aspects? Or is it a sunnah? Ahsan, it is a rukn. It is a pillar of salah. Just so you guys know, if you leave a pillar or a wajib on purpose, your salah is batil. But if you leave them by accident, there's a difference of hukum. We're going to get into that in the last halaqah, inshallah, how to correct your salah. It's very technical and I want everybody to follow. Can somebody demonstrate to me what the proper sajda looks like? We went through it. تفضل وليد. تقدم لكي الناس كلهم يشوفوا. He did one thing wrong, right there. What did he do? أحسنت. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يسجد على يديه. يضع يديه من قبل. فعيد.
أنا مسويها يديه بس.
ولكن على سبيل المثال لازم. So if it's difficult for you to go on your hands, yes, you can go on your knees. Yes, you can go on your knees. See, mashallah, how his feet are together. His toes are facing forward. All 7 parts are touching. What are the 7 parts, Hamza? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ahsant. All 7 parts are touching. Now, if he puts his hands wide, فرش يديك فرش يديك. زيد 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 زيد. زيد يعني على العكس. زيد, come on. Is this correct? No. If he puts his hands far back, رجع يديك. Too close. حط من ظهرك. من ظهرك حط. من ظهر. Yes. See what he's doing with his forearms? What's that? What is that? What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about that?
Prostrate like a camel.
The dog. The dog. So the dog sits on his hinds like this. يفرشها. So there's a nahi on this. أحسن بارك الله فيك. جزاك الله خير وليد. Yes.
Like in our country, I saw that ladies usually when they prostrate, they use all the way they like a dog. Right?
No.
So they say this is the different one.
No. If you go to page 79, I believe it was, there is no major difference between the salah of a man and the salah of a woman.
Where did Ahnaf get it from?
Huh?
Where did Ahnaf get it from?
It's an opinion.
Hold on, yes, it's an opinion. There's two notable differences for the women. Number one is placing of the hands. Obviously, women have a different chest, so whatever is more comfortable for them. The second is how they let their garments surround them at all times. Okay, but there is nothing like this. This nahi is nahi am. So no one that is to pray is to put their forearms on the floor. Because ما ثبت في حق الرجال يثبت في حق النساء. Whatever is clear in the rights of men is clear in the rights of women, and vice versa. إلا بدليل اختصاص, except for any evidence that we have to prove that is otherwise. But because the lafz is am, you're not supposed to do this in salah. Whoever is praying, whether it's a man, woman, or child. We said that the sajda is a rukn, and the correct way to make the sajda is upon the 7 parts. Let's say if somebody had long hair, a man, obviously not a woman, and you can have your hair until your shoulders, by the way, or your earlobes. Can he tie his hair and pray?
No.
Explain. That knot is where shaitan will sit upon. But is his salah jaiz? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. لم تبطل صلاته. ولكن the hikmah behind it, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam في الحديث الصحيح في سنن النسائي, he mentioned, he said, لا أكف الشعر ولا أكف الثياب. He says, I don't tie my hair in salah, nor do I fold my clothing. This lafaz is sahih in Sunan Nisa'i. So the entire body makes sujood, including the hair, including your garment. Okay, including your garment. Now I see a lot of people who have long pants. They come into the masjid after they make wudu, they fold them. They fold them because the sunnah of Rasulullah was to have his garment have like just before the ankle. This was that. Is this correct? No, it's not.
What you just said, it's not correct.
It's not correct. It's not correct. Your garment should be above the ankle. Okay? Should be already above the ankle. There is many proofs to indicate that this was the sunnah, this was the common practice, and that there's a repercussion if you don't keep your garment above the ankle. However, the ulama differed in this. They said, okay, what was the hikmah behind this? What was the reasoning behind this? Shortening of the garments. There's two reasons. The first and primary reason is النهي عن التكبر. It negates any arrogance. Back in the days, the wealthy, the rich, the powerful, they used to wear and don long garments. They would drag on the streets, a sign of prestige and honor and power and wealth. Where you have a poor, impoverished, destitute man on the side who doesn't even have a clean shirt, and they used to drag their clothing. So Islam is the contrary of this. We don't believe in arrogance. It is against the deen. It is the primary sin, the takabbur. So we are to stay away from anything that is similar to that, or similarly to that. The second reason is because to stay pure, tahara. Because if you have long garments, you're going to collect dirt and najasa and Allahu a'lam. So this is another aspect. But if someone has his pants just below the ankle, but he's wearing boots or shoes, we're not going to make a hukm on this guy that his feet are in the fire. No, can't do that. Can't do that. Okay? So there's a reasoning behind this. But if one can, then they should keep their garments above the ankles. Okay? And if you have long garments and you feel that they're dirty, and you've come to make salah with the jama'ah, and you don't have to fold them. It's too late. You should go and get them hemmed. It only costs about $12 to get your pants professionally hemmed. Okay? Instead of you trying to fool us and fool yourself, folding them up. No, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he commanded the one who was praying to perform sajda on all seven. And he said that you should not tie your hair nor fold your garments. What does one say in the sajda when he or she is in prostration? Who can tell me? Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Ahsant. How many times do you have to say it? No. Say it.
Minimum one?
No. You're very close though. You remember what we said? So, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la is not a rukn. It is not a wajib. It is a sunnah. So if somebody doesn't say it, there's no ithm on them. However, it was a trick question. The minimum is one. The minimum is one. It goes 1 to 3 to 10. Okay? Now, when I say it's a sunnah, you don't have to do it. It doesn't mean you can just be like, I don't want to say anything. I'm just going to think about my Xbox. No. No. Okay? We gave you the meaning and the beautiful meaning behind Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Now, who can tell me what Subhana Rabbi al-A'la means? Allah is the Most High. That's Rabbi al-A'la. Allahu al-A'la. Subhana. Give me the word Subhana in English. Exalted. Glory is to Allah. Yes. Subhana is tanzihullah. In English, like I mentioned, it's a very primitive language. You need about 6 to 7 words in order to illustrate what Subhana means. So you're exalting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you are in this position where your face, the most honorable aspect that you have on your body, the most recognizable feature, the one that you face everyone with, is how you're recognized. If you showed me your hand, I wouldn't know who you are. But your face, that's the most recognizable feature. It's the feature that can determine sort of your mood, how you are, how you're feeling. It's the same aspect of yourself that you face the world with. You're putting that, the most honored feature, at the same level as your feet on the floor. And you are in such a low position, in such a position of humility and submission, and you're saying exalted is Allah who is the highest. And this is why this position, sujood, is the closest you will get to Allah on earth. أقرب ما يكون العبد إلى ربه وهو ساجد. The closest you'll ever get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is when you're in sujood. So when you're in this beautiful moment, in this position of full submission and worship, this is your time to supplicate, to ask, to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't take those moments for granted and start thinking about, school or this or that. No. You're in worship, you're in a great form of ibadah and a great act of ibadah. Take advantage of it. So we also mentioned that he sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la wa bihamdih. And yazidu alayha wa bihamdih. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ardahum, they narrated that he sallallahu alayhi wasallam would spend very long in sajda. Very long. Until he was as if though he forgot. Can somebody make sujood on the dirt? Or does it have to be a nice blue plush carpet from Turkey? What is the hukum? What's the ruling?
Yes, as long as you can find something that's clean.
Ahsant, very good. Whatever is clean. And the entire earth is tahir. For you and I, as Muslims, we have it the best. The Jews, the Christians, all these other religions and ideologies, they have a specific place to pray. They can't just pray anywhere. We can pray anywhere, as long as it's tahir. Wherever the sun touches, some of the ulama said, wherever the sun touches, you can pray. In sajda, and I want to emphasize this point, relax, take your time. Especially when you're at home, you're praying witr, you're praying qiyam, take your time. You'll find that, subhanAllah, the body has this position, puts you at ease. And there's a study that the Japanese culture has this practice. You know how hardworking the Japanese populace is. They're very hard workers. 12 hours is an 8-hour shift for them. It's a very regular shift, 12 hours. Some of them work 16 hours, 17 hours, 2 days in a row. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of afiyah. I'm not saying be like them. But they have this practice, ancient practice, where when they are overwhelmed with stress and anxiety, they're in the office and they've passed 14 hours or 15 hours or whatever, and they feel tired and fatigued and just strung out. They're uneasy. What do? They go and they put their forehead on the ground. And when asked, they said, well, there's negative ions in the body and negative energy, and it leaves the body through the ground. This is actually, there's a scientific research into this. Because we were created from the earth, and we go back to it. In this position, subhanAllah, something occurs within the body to relax it. I'm not going by their practice or culture or the scientific evidence. I'm just relating this to you in the sense where if you meet someone, for example, and you want to introduce them to Islam, and you want to teach them how to pray, even if they're not Muslim, they will find comfort in that position. I'll tell you a story. One time we had a friend of ours who was interested in Islam. This is way back when I was in high school. And, we were introducing Islam to him, and he was very interested. So we took him to Salat al-Jumu'ah, I remember. And I told him, I said, just have a seat in the back, listen to the sermon. It was Shaykh Yunus Kathar, Hafidhahullah. And he delivered a beautiful sermon. And the brother was very attentively listening, he was very intrigued. And as soon as it was time for Salah, we all stood up. And he followed. Usually, if somebody's non-Muslim, they're not supposed to pray with us, by the way. They're not supposed to pray with us. That's the hukum. But he already stood up, and nobody could, tell him no. So he was following our moves. He didn't know what he was doing, but for him, he was just following. And then after the fact, I didn't want to, put him on the spot. I just asked him, I said, how did you feel? He said, oh, it was amazing. I said, what was amazing? He said, especially that part when we went on the floor. He said, I felt something amazing. I felt at peace. This is a non-Muslim who doesn't even know much about Islam. He's just learning, who understood this beautiful feeling of sujood. And here we are. Abdullah is a Muslim for 15 years, 20 years. His mom's telling him, did you pray? Did you? He said, yes, I prayed. And he's just pecking at the floor. What are you doing, fam? Right? What are you doing? Take your time, relax, you're in ibadah. The motions that you're carrying out in salah, just so you guys know, one of the pillars of salah, if you don't have a pillar, you know what happens? Your salah is batila, okay? One of the pillars is tranquility, to find peace and ease. You know what happens when you're praying in salah and you do this, and then you're like, and then you reach into your pocket, start scratching yourself, fixing your hair, touching your beard. Where's the tranquility? Where's the tranquility? Some of the ulama of fiqh, they said, whoever does actions outside of salah to the point where if you walked by, you thought that person is not praying, their salah is batila. And I've seen it live in a masjid. The brother pulls out his phone during salah and he got a call, he texts in salah. Both hands, he's texting. He sends, puts it back. So if when I saw him in this moment, I didn't think he was in salah because I was shocked. I said, what's this guy doing? He's texting in salah. He's texting. Some of the ulama, they said three actions outside of the salah, meaning I scratched my thigh, touched my beard, fixed my collar, batila. 3. Some of them, and this is the more correct opinion, they said whatever is not understood by the people as the norm. It's not normal. If you went beyond this, it means it's not normal. What you're doing, batil. But let's say Abdullah has an itch. Does he scratch it? Does he in salah? Yes, he does. Because that will distract him. Okay? So he should scratch it to get rid of it. Okay? But after he scratches it, he's not just going to keep thinking about it and then, okay, maybe I should scratch the left side too. No. It's whatever is commonly understood, that's okay. In the fiqh of the Maliki fiqh, some of the Malikiyah, they said 12 actions, after that, batila. Stop your salah, start again. Start again. Start again. Because 12 extra movements that have nothing to do with salah, just start again. This is how severe it is, guys, because I see some of the youth when they're praying, they're just looking around. And he's dancing, he put one leg on the other, picking his nose. What are you doing? It's not part of the salah. It's not part of the salah. I really wanted to make that clear. It is a rukn, so don't mess around with that. Now, rising from the sajda. This is where we left off. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would raise his head from the prostration while saying Allahu Akbar. Okay? So he wouldn't say it, he wouldn't say Allahu Akbar, then get up. Same time. Okay? Same time. It's very important because if you're leading a salah, you don't want people to beat you to the sitting. Okay? So same time, Allahu Akbar. It's the same, it takes exactly the same time. Then next, he would lay his left foot along the ground and sit on his left foot. Okay? Relaxed. And then his right foot would come up like this. Okay? Does anybody know how to demonstrate it? You want to come up and demonstrate it for me? Who can that? So he would sit on the left. Very good. Beautiful. You're very limber. I wish I could do that all the time. So when you get heavier and older, like for me, I have a partial tear in my left knee. It's very difficult for me to do that. So you know what I do? I sit on both of them. Yes. But in the last tashahhud, I sit like that. Okay? He also used to sit on his heels. Together. Very good. So this is called iqa'. This is correct. This is correct. Now separate your legs and sit on your bum. This is manhi. This is wrong. This is wrong. Okay? So there's 3 ways to sit. Go back to the first way. Very good. And then iqa' on the heels. And then tafrish. Tafrish is exactly how I'm sitting right now. Where he puts, yes, no, put that under. Put this leg under.
Like this.
Left foot under, yes, tafrish.
And straighten this.
Yeah, you can straighten that up. Stand it up. No. Yes.
Exactly.
This is called tafrish. It's 3 ways. Again, if somebody has a knee problem, barakallahu fi Hamza, thank you, bro. Really good demonstration. If somebody has knee problems, back problems, hip problems, there is no ithm. You can even sit like this. Yes, correct. You can even sit like this, with your legs forward. You can even sit like my father who's sitting on the chair, like that. Again, there is al-amr fi sa'a. And again, we mentioned last time, if there is any obstacle that's preventing you, we have the solution. We want to ensure that you pray. Aham shay is that you pray. Huh? Alhamdulillah. He used to, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would sit on his left foot and his right foot would be propped up. The iqa' again, as Hamza mentioned, he would sit on both of the heels with the toes pointing forward. This is very hard, by the way. Very hard to do. But I noticed, subhanAllah, if you're praying with your shoes, you're more likely to do this, the iqa', because it is hard to bend the shoe. And you find more stability. And he, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to pray with his shoes very commonly. So again, we have this. It is a rukn. This position, by the way, of sitting between the sajda is a rukn. It's a pillar. So if Abdullah was in sujood and then he got up and went straight up, he forgot to sit, he forgot the second sajda, he missed a rukn. What does he do? No, but he remembered. He goes right back down. But a lot of people make the mistake to go back down, they don't sit. They go straight to the sajda. You miss the rukn of the sitting between the sajdas, and then you miss the second sajda, which is also a rukn. So and this happens commonly actually, if you stand up, come right back down, sit, and then make the second sajda, then Allahu Akbar. Yes, did you have a question? Okay. So, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to be relaxed in this position. It's not a schizophrenic tantrum where you get up from sajda and you go right back down as if though somebody's chasing you. No, you're supposed to sit up, relax. What do we say in this position? Rabbi ighfirli. Rabbi ighfirli. You can say it twice, by the way. Rabbi ighfirli, Rabbi ighfirli. And he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this position, by the way, he would stay long. The Sahaba, again, they thought that he forgot. And he would say, the most famous one is Rabbi ighfirli, twice. Can you add something to it? Yes, you can. You can add any dua. Wali waliday. Repeat after me. Wali waliday. Meaning, Allah forgive me and my parents. This is a beautiful dua that every son and daughter should make. SubhanAllah, this dua is so beautiful. I'll tell you a story. I was praying in a masjid once, and there's a brother who's always at the jami, always at the masjid, and he was praying right beside me. Very old man, very old, like over the age of 90. And in sujood, I can hear him say, Rabbi ighfirli wali waliday. In the sitting between the sajda, Rabbi ighfirli wali waliday. And wallahi, it dawned on me, and I thought, subhanallah, how old is this man? How many years he's been making dua for his parents? Do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept his dua? It really dawned on me because he's 90. All these years he's praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these positions. He's begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him and his parents. Do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept that? يعني عجب العجاب. نسأل الله يتقبل منا ويغفر لنا ولوالدينا. اللهم آمين. He used to always also say, Allahumma ighfirli warhamni wajburni warfa'ni wahdini wa'afini warzuqni. Yani the du'as are endless, but Rabbi ighfirli is the most common one. You could add to it after that, Rabbi ighfirli wali waliday walil mu'minina wal mu'minat al-ahya'i minhum al-amwat ila akhirih. Whatever dua you have time to make it sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be assured of the response. Now, after he would go back to the sajda, he would say Allahu Akbar, he would make sajda. Then he's standing up for the second rak'ah. There is a sitting of rest between this. You know how, okay, so we made the first sajda, and then we got up, we sat down for the intermediate sitting between the sajdas. We went back for the sajda, and now we're going back to al-qiyam, to the rak'ah, to stand up. There is a moment where he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, used to sit before standing. It's called the sitting of rest. And he would sit exactly as he sat between the two sajdas, on his left foot with his right foot up. Some of the ulama, they said this is not, this was later, because he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, wanted to add this as a rest period. But the rajih is, it is a sunnah. It is a sunnah. And it is to be followed. Because every position of salah has a tranquility. And this position of standing up, we're not going to just get up right away from sajda, from the floor all the way to the qiyam. So take your time, come up, sit, and then he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would clench his fists. Can somebody demonstrate? And then he would put them on, yes, and he would stand up. He would do that. He wouldn't try to get up like a gymnast. Okay, can you come here, Hamza? You're a good demonstrator. Get up without touching with your hands. Yeah, he wouldn't do that. And I'll tell you why this is risky. You may be very agile and healthy and young, but first of all, if you're taking a long time in sujood and you get up straight right away up, the blood flow is gonna be too much. So it's gonna go from your head right back down. It's too sudden, and vice versa if you go straight down. So there is a moment of ease, and then a moment of position, strength with his fists, and he would stand up slowly. There's an etiquette to it. It's not just getting up, and some people will put their left foot forward to stand up from sujood. If you have an issue with your hips or your feet, you can do that. Put your left foot forward, and then they would stand up. If you have an issue of standing up, you can't. Maybe you're too heavy, maybe you have a bad knee, This is jaiz. But the sunnah was with his fists, down. Okay, I think we're gonna do the first tashahhud today, and then next week inshallah we'll go to the last tashahhud. So the first tashahhud, everybody knows it. Tahiyyatu lillah, wa salawatu lillah, wa tayyibat. There are variations, different ways of saying it. Now the first tashahhud is, if you miss it, let's say you forget to make it, what is it? Is it a wajib? Is it a rukn? Is it a sunnah? What is it? There's a major difference of opinion on this one. Some of the fuqaha said it is a sunnah, but the correct opinion, it is from the wajibat. From the wajibat. It is not from the arkan, not from the pillars. So, meaning if you forget it, you don't have to go back down. You don't have to go back down. Okay? You just pray to sajdat sahu. And the evidence for this is on page 66. When he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, forgot to perform the tashahhud after the first 2 rak'ahs, he would prostrate twice for forgetfulness. Okay? Now, in the tashahhud, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, my friend Abu Hurairah narrates, he says, my friend, sahibi, habibi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, forbade me from squatting like a dog. In another hadith, he used to forbid the squatting of the devil. Okay? And that's when we said squatting like on your bum. But again, if you have an issue, it's different. When he sat in tashahhud, he would place his right palm on his right thigh. In another narration, on his knee. His right palm on his thigh or on his knee, and his left palm in his left thigh or his left knee. Okay? And then he would put the end of his right elbow on his right thigh. Okay? The end of his right elbow on the end of his right thigh, like this. Okay? And then we have this. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would spread his left palm on his left knee. This one, a lot of people don't know it. So when you are making the tashahhud, I'm going to demonstrate so everybody can see. A lot of us, we just do this. He would take the left palm and spread it on the left knee. Okay? And then he would form what is called a halqa, a ring, with his middle finger to his thumb, while the other fingers are closed. And he would point with the sabab, like this. And he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said that this surely is more powerful against shaitan than iron. And this is why you see some brothers, some fathers, they do this. So it's not something we made up. Okay? It is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you want extra protection from shaitan, and who doesn't in salah, then you can use this. And then in the hadith of Abu Hurairah, it mentions that he would move the forefinger. Now here is the khilaf. Here is the difference. Shaykh al-Albani rahmatullahi alayh, in his later years, he was praying beside a man. And he was practicing the sunnah in salah. And he was going like this, like crazy, like schizophrenia, Tourette's. So Shaykh al-Albani, he recognizes what's going on here. And he said, "Ya Shaykh, this is the sunnah." And the Shaykh, he said, later on, he commented, he said, "Had I known people were going to practice it like this, I would have clarified. The movement of the finger is not frantic schizophrenia. No. It's almost natural. If you hold out your finger like this, okay, just try it. It will start to move by itself. Huh? Based on your pulse. Based on your pulse. This is the movement that the Sahaba noted. Some people went above and beyond. They got really creative. They make circles. Some of them are doing whips. Some of them, I don't know what they're doing. They got really creative. Some of them are launching missiles because they think you're attacking Shaitan. Again, the hadith is very clear. This is how he used to do it. Left palm on the left knee. Huh? Like this, he would make the ring with the middle finger and the thumb, and he would hold his finger straight. And in this position, again, you remember what we said when you're in salah? The whole time you're looking at the place of prostration, except here. Except in this position, you are to look at the finger.
So you're not supposed to move it at all?
No, you can move it, but again, not drastic. There's no like, it's not like I have to hit 3,000 taps.
Slow is fine.
Yeah, slow is fine.
Okay.
Don't go crazy, because that becomes a distraction for the person next to you. They're wondering what's going on, what's he hammering? It's just this very natural. Again, if you hold it up, practice this next time, next salah, just hold it and you will see that it will move with your pulse.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
With your pulse.
Let it move that way.
So that motion, that movement was cited by the Sahaba. If they saw him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, moving it frantically, they would have used the word frantically. They would have emphasized the movement. But the movement was so natural that they just said movement. SubhanAllah. So again, this is something to note. Is moving the finger in salah from the wajibat or the arkan or the sunnah? Sunnah. It's a sunnah. So you don't have to do it. Huh? And don't hate on people who don't do it. But again, you should do it. Okay? The obligation of the first tashahhud. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yes, so we mentioned that to make up, if you forget the first tashahhud, it is not from the arkan, it is from the wajibat. You can make 2 sajdat sahu. I think let me go into the tashahhud itself. We said that the most common one is التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Another narration. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. وفي رواية وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Another narration is التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. There's many. My favorite one is التحيات لله الزاكيات لله. Okay, we say in Algeria الزكيات. الزكيات لله الطيبات لله الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Again, there's many ways to say it, but Shaykh Al-Albani rahmatullah alayhi, he compiled all the authentic narrations. I want to skip today to the second tashahhud, because this interests me. Is there a dua? So in the first tashahhud, you don't have to say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. You know that, right? In the first tashahhud, تكتفي بهذا. So you can, the ulama said, if you wanted to continue it, you can continue. There's no sahu, there's no ithm on you. If you wanted to make dua, you can make dua. Okay? But I wanted to get to the second part, as-salat al-Ibrahimiyya. As-salat al-Ibrahimiyya, there are different versions of it as well. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. This is the one most of us know, صح? Many of us were taught one that includes في العالمين. Who knows this one? في العالمين. Okay, I looked and inshallah I'm going to do some more research. The only correct narration that we have is this one here. And it only includes في العالمين in the second part. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. إنك حميد مجيد. This is the correct narration. Many of us were taught that it's for both. There is some narrations that mention it, but they are weak. And this is why Shaykh al-Albani didn't even include them here. Okay? So, fil alameen, this part was only included in this authentic narration where it's word by word. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad al-Nabi al-Ummi ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala ali Ibrahim وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I was looking into the matter because I was taught في العالمين in the first and in the second. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد. I was taught that way a long time ago. And then one of my mashayikh, he pointed my attention to this. And he said, Fil Alameen is only included in this authentic narration. It is not in any other lafaz. But Allahu A'la wa A'lam, we'll look into it inshallah. He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to answer your question, also set the guidance of dua in this tashahhud as well by saying, when you sit after every 2 rak'ahs, then say, all compliments are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till the end of the supplication. And then he said, then he should select the supplications what is most pleasing to him. You can make a dua, whichever dua. From the second, I missed this part. When he finished the tahiyyat, the first tashahhud, if he wanted to stand up for the second rak'ah, he would sometimes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say Allahu Akbar while sitting. He would raise his hands while sitting, say Allahu Akbar, and then stand. And then stand. I missed this part. And you'll see many of the Maliki madhab, they do this. So this is from the Sunnah. It's from the Sunnah. If you're going for the second rak'ah, you can do that here in the sitting position, or when you stand up. Okay? Or when you stand up.
The third rak'ah, right?
Any rak'ah, any tashahhud. Sorry, in the third rak'ah. Yes, correct. But for a lot of the brothers, they don't know that if you're sitting in the tashahhud and you're getting up for the third rak'ah, you can say Allahu Akbar sitting and raise your hands exactly how you'd raise them for takbir al-ihram. I think inshallah niktafi bihada, we'll suffice with this for tonight. Maybe the youth want to go and play inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Or inshallah next class bi'idhnillah, we're going to go into detail how to correct salah, what's correctable, and little different technicalities inshallah. Okay? Barakallahu feekum. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.